and welcome to another very interesting webinar with a very critical theme, which is combination of Pharma CRM and AI and how to supercharge those both technologies, especially nowadays since we have this whole AI hype. Today with us we have three fellow gentlemen. From my left to the right, Sczerba from CROMA-PHARMA. Hank, how are you doing? Suppose still in Vienna sitting, right?
Yes, all fine. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Alexey, Cherchago from Glenmark, or actually in transition, maybe we can put it in that way. Hi, Alexey. Same question to you.
Hi, Dario. Thanks a lot for inviting me for the discussion.
Thank you. And Chetak Buaria from Merck. I just also maybe can mention one thing which is very good, and this is that all select gentlemen for this webinar are regular speakers at Next and regularly contributing with their amazing views. So I'm super excited for that webinar as well. So we did a preparation call, which was super interesting. Let us just be cautious with time, which is 30 minutes, because we learned that webinar should actually be 30 minutes, not 60 minutes, which is still enough for saying smart and good things to our audience. And we prepared actually three relatively simple questions for you. So the first one would be, how can pharma companies leverage GenAI within their CRM systems, which are still legacy systems, let's put it in that way, to increase and enhance customer engagement? But still with having a clear focus on human-to-human interactions and maybe even having some AI-driven insights through MBA and so on. So since Alexey was very skeptical, especially with the MBA piece, maybe we can start with you.
Thank you, Dario. I would say that GenAI can provide actionable insights on customer preferences, history, and engagement patterns, right? These insights for sure empower customer-facing colleagues to tailor their conversations, and actually at the same time they can maintain a personal touch, right? For example, I might help to identify preferences for certain communication channels or content topics, and I would say MedReps can leverage this in the next meeting, right? This is what we call MBA. GenAI enables the automation of personalized emails, messages, and different content. We have a lot of examples of this one, and what is interesting here that while ensuring these communications resonates with the customer needs, it is possible to streamline, to make it in a rather efficient and effective way. And last point for application of GenAI, I would say it's enhancing empathy in the communication, right? AI tools can analyze language and tone to help reps engage with the customers more empathetically, so to say, right? By suggesting optimal messaging which resonates with the customers instead of providing rather generic information, or I would say spammy interactions, right? At the same time, it's a relatively new tool, and especially I can see that we can get a lot of benefits from GenAI when we are talking to broad audiences, broad specialties, like, I don't know, general practitioners, for example. And when we are talking about application, all these technologies and scale, it is still a kind of new technology, and there are a couple of good examples. I'm really happy to hear specific examples from Hank and from Chetak. And I would say, talking about GenAI, there is usual a bit over-optimistic thinking about short-term perspective, and a bit underestimate this technology when we are talking about mid and long-term perspective.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Hank, Chetak, who would like to build on that?
Yeah. So I think another thing where GenAI can help is documentation, because I think most of our reps lack documentation, because it's quite bothersome. You know, if you go out of the practice, you have to do it in a very mostly tablet or something like that. Yeah. And with the AI tool, it can document what you were using, what was the conversation about. It makes life easier at the documentation at the end, and it can also control, let's say, if that everything is based on data privacy in the Right? You could also have a blacklist, let's say, of documentation you're not allowed to put in the system inside. And I think this would really improve how we interact with our customers, because that builds then a good documentation for the AI then as well to prepare the next specific content for the customer, as we heard before, for instance. That I think could be another point.
Chetak?
From my side, I mean, the way I visualize a Gen AI's role in CRM environment would be, for me, Gen AI in CRM starts where NBA ends. So we all, even in audience, are familiar with next best action, which has been around for almost 5 years now. And to Alex's point, it has, in my mind, worked well in uplifting the lower end of the capability curve. So in any sales team, any customer engagement team, you have a bell curve. And what NBA has demonstrated, at least in all the experiences that I have been through, is to really demonstrate quantifiable uplift in performance for that lower quartile of the team. Having said that, it comes with its own limitation, because as we know, it is built on algorithms and underlying rule-based suggestions predominantly, and rep is more at a receiving end of next best action. What Gen AI is capable of is to put rep at the center, rep in the driving seat of driving the insights that is important, meaningful for those conversations. So for me, in my mind, we are moving from an era of next best action to next best question that rep should be asking. And that for me will be critical, right from insights generation, right from going into productivity enhancement, to Hank's point, how Gen AI could help me to autofill a lot of inputs that I need to provide in CRM. Many a times that has been the most frustrating task of a rep's job, is to input all the things that I need to complete in my CRM, and Gen AI can help me here, and we can go on and elaborate on a couple of other use cases as a part of the conversation.
Definitely. Thank you very much, Chetak. Next question: how can your current CRM systems enhance AI-driven analytics? Usually when we speak about CRM, analytics is always a very hot topic, which somehow could be optimized within insights, which can, of course, drive further engagements as well. So is there any concrete examples? How can you build on that? Maybe this time we can start with you, Hank.
Yeah, sure. So I think what you can do as well is if you use sentiment analysis, so you can really track what is the discussion online about your products, what has been discussed at congresses and so on. And this let's say, resources which are enormous, very broad, let's say, and it's very hard to track for a company, even day-to-day discussions. This can also be used, for instance, in the discussion with the customer in the future. And this is something where I can help, I think. Yeah. The other point is also predictive analytics, So you can analyze your customer data, you look at the market trends, and then you can predict future behaviors, like when doctors might show more interest in your product, for instance. Yeah. And this is something I think the normal rep cannot do, and also the back office cannot provide on a day-to-day basis. But AI can deal with this data on a daily basis, and that would help a lot, I think.
Thank you. Chetak?
Yeah. Building on the point that I was making earlier, putting rep at the center in control, what Gen AI can tangibly demonstrate from analytics and insights perspective is to help rep better understand the customer insights. As we know, for example, in oncology business, where I'm close to, its access is becoming more and more challenging. So what you want to make sure that whatever time and opportunity that you get with the customer, you really make the best possible impact. To make it worse, the customer is being touched across different channels, different engagement points, and how you pull through all the insights that exist in CRM in a conversational mode. So you can visualize Gen AI almost like my co-pilot as a rep, and how I use it to generate insights about my customer, about my territory, about my performance, even how am I trending against my incentive plan, which is always close to the heart of a rep.
Thank you. Maybe let's stay with you, Chetak, a little bit. And you made a very interesting statement, which somehow is futuristic, but in some way, I believe we all can agree and relate to that. And this is that the current format of the CRM, as we know it today, most probably won't exist in the upcoming 5 years, right? Can you maybe elaborate on that? Because I'm also super on that side as well, but maybe the audience can also hear this visionary view. What would be the expectation of the CRM for the future?
Sure, Dario. I mean, for me, I'm already visualizing a future in next 3 to 5 years, probably sooner as well, where I as a rep will not even look at CRM. I will be interacting with it, either inputting my data into it or extracting insights from it. So if you think of CRM, basically it's a data lake. It's a repository of data, content, and insights. What you want is an interface which allows you to fetch that data as you need to plan for your interaction. As you go into the interaction, pull out the right material that you would like to show to the customer. And once you complete the call, feed those insights back into the system so that you enrich your next conversation. So if you think of that, basically it's your co-pilot, as I said before. It's your buddy which stays with you, and you don't even see the user interface for CRM. CRM can be anything at the back, as long as it has right fields to capture the data that matters to me. And for my call, it could be coming from anywhere. What is important is the interface, the conversational interface that I could get, which allows me to just talk to my buddy as I need it along the way of my customer journey.
Thank you. Hank, Alexey, anyone would like maybe to build on that?
Maybe a couple of comments from my side. I can see three big cases, right? The first one is around identification of earlier market trends. And both Hank and Chetak already mentioned that it is we are moving from rule-based systems to insight generation. And in this specific case, when we are talking about rather heterogeneous data sets, you know, when we have AI and enhanced CRMs, they can detect shifts in prescribing patterns, changes in treatment preferences, or market dynamics with real data. Yeah, this is the first case. The second one, it's around predictive analytics for targeted engagement. And here, even now, we can see a lot of good examples where smart systems can bring different quality of engagement, ensuring relevance of interactions, for example, between medical representatives and other customer-facing colleagues, right? AI can predict future trends by, I don't know, analyzing large data sets from multiple sources, including, I don't know, sales data, patient outcomes, and so on. And this allows companies actually to optimize the resources and the interactions between reps and healthcare practitioners, right? And last use case, which is also quite significant, going a bit beyond customer-facing colleagues, it's around optimization of resource allocation, right? Typical projects which took us many months to build it for a couple of years. I'm talking about territory alignment, I don't know, targeting and so on. Now we have a chance to do it in a completely different manner, much more dynamically. And in the end of the day, the speed, the quality of such exercises bring completely different quality of interactions, engagement, you know, between quality of engagement between pharma companies and HCPs.
Hank, anything to add?
I think, you know, perhaps that's the future in 5 to 10 years, but I think it could be that even based on the insight on the customer base, the insight from the rep base, perhaps it could even match the right rep to the right doctor in the future. Yeah, because you all know there's a lot of human interaction between the people, but the system, they can measure that somehow. Perhaps even out of the tone of your voice, what you put in the system, what is the, let's say, what they post on internet, you can find correlation between right rep and right customer, and this would really change the outcome of what we do with our customers. Yeah, first of all, it would be give us better interactions, but also let's say optimized results at the end. And as you said already, perhaps we might save costs because you just need a lower number, or you have, let's say, better interactions because access is a problem, as you said. You know?
So maybe ACP rep Tinder, something like so.
Exactly. Yeah, no, but exactly, and that's in the background automatically. And I think this is not so far away, to be honest. Yeah, if you
Also,
depends
at
on
the
the insight you get.
at the back end, what is happening is that, as we all know, I mean, we have rapidly evolved into an environment where we talk about omni-channel, and rep is one of the many channels that is interfacing with the customer. So how do I, as a rep, still keep track of all the other touch points that customer is having with my organization, either meeting my leadership at the scientific congress or landing on my website, etc. What GenAI is then hopefully capable of is to pull through some kind of a back-end customer data platform to connect me with all the different touch points that customer is having, so that I can advance that customer on a journey rather than just catching up with what has happened since my last call.
Thank you very much. Good, let's proceed with the next question, which is how actually real-world applications in combination, so AI and CRM, meet initial expectations. And I believe we can today completely agree that just a year ago and today expectations are completely different. And can this alignment somehow lead us to hyper-personalization, to predictive capabilities, and of course, that we still stay safe under compliance and regulatory? So maybe a complex question, but I suppose we all understood the main objective. Maybe this time we can start with you, Chetak.
In your highly loaded questions, and there are multiple dimensions to it. There is a personalization angle from a customer's perspective, but I would also look at personalization from a rep's perspective. So instead of I looking at a generic interface, which predominantly exists today, how can I curate my interface with CRM, which is tailored to my style of engaging in my territory? As we know, I mean, each rep is unique and they have different set of customers. So there's an element of personalization that I could have for myself as a rep. And the other part is around compliance, and especially when it comes to generative. And as soon as it is generative, there is a risk of going off script, and we all know the challenges that are lying there. So we need to tackle them one by one. For me, I think when it comes to personalization for a customer, it starts from my ability to understand the customer better with help of GenAI. So if I use GenAI, hopefully I have better insights, much more granular personal insights within my understanding of the customer through different data points that exist at my backend, which hopefully then allows me to look at my backend vault, in our case, CROMA-PHARMA, for example, where I have repository of approved content, which I can bring to that customer. So then hopefully GenAI could help me to connect the 2 points where I have my customer insights telling me what are the preferences, and then I have my content lake better matching to the needs of my customer. So that is already something that I personally see getting realized in the next 12 to 18 months, because there is a very logical case that is building around that. Same goes for personalization from a rep's perspective. How can I mentioned before, how can I interact with my CRM to get the insight that matters to me and how I would like to operate in my territory? The third dimension that you mentioned is the trickier one. I don't see immediate way forward there in terms of capturing the generative insights, because we will need a kind of a compliance check in terms of what I could enter. So I'm here referring to any kind of free text, which is already a red flag in a CRM environment. So to that extent, we need to be cautious. And there is nothing wrong in being cautious. It is just that we need to also pick up battles that matters most. For me, what matters most is the personalized experience that we can provide to the customer, and eventually we will get there. But that's already a great starting point for me.
Thank you very much. Alexey, Henk?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I just thought, what happens if the doctor in front of you noticed that you're using AI basically to analyze him and to prepare the context, yeah? Because that might cause some troubles, because that's what not doctors might appreciate at the end, yeah? And because so far they like the human interaction, they like the person in front of you. In the future, they never can be sure, is this the work of the person or is this the work of the computer and the AI, yeah? So this might cause some troubles, I think, in the human interaction, especially if you're new to the doctor and you don't have a long-term relationship. Yeah. And on the other hand side, what Chetak said is the compliance. On the one hand side, let's say it might be easier because you can tell AI, take care of compliance, data privacy, and whatever you say here, that it's all approved and not off-label, let's say. But on the other hand side, in big corporates, I think it will be very tough because the regulatory compliance officers or whatever, they might not trust the system, yeah, and they are very cautious normally. So I think this is one of the biggest challenges, most likely. Yeah.
Exactly. Alexey?
So guys, I think that I have delivered on its promise when we are talking about hyper-personalization by enabling granular segmentation of HCPs, I don't know, based on specialty, behavior, and preferences. This ensures that communications are more relevant. Yeah, this is one of the areas where I can see a lot of progress. At the same time, while AI improves operational efficiency, it has also faced challenges with meeting stringent regulatory standards in pharma, especially in managing sensitive data. And Henk mentioned that the quality of insight generation is a function actually of the quality of documentation of exchange between customer-facing colleagues and HCPs, right? The more we are able to document, the better insights. But at the same time, what would be expectations of our customers around these types of activities? How to anonymize data to be able to derive insights at the level of I don't know, geographies, right? Big geographies, beyond territory, beyond region, and so on. Another point I'm thinking about. AI in CRM has already shown value in predictive analytics. We have a couple of examples at scale and good examples of improvement of engagement strategies. I think that future expectations should shift towards greater integration with cross-channel data, especially with the pull interactions, right? Not push interactions, because we know that we spend quite a lot of resources sending reps, sending messages, emails, different types of content to healthcare practitioners. But what is going on with pool area, where this area reflects actually what HCPs would like. This is the way how they would like to interact with us. How to connect this element, to overall engagement, to the whole communication journey between two parties. This is definitely not clear for me. And one of the biggest questions here is how to improve AI transparency to avoid potential challenges like Henk mentioned, right? What would be expectations of our customers when they would get information around collecting this data and usage for optimization of the engagement? Who is standing behind this, machine or a human being? This is quite interesting question from the perspective of ethics, compliance, and actually willingness of both parts to engage according to new principles.
Very interesting. We're left with 5 minutes, and maybe we can use that with some, let's say, concrete playbook steps, and maybe you can give clear examples to the audience. Imagine I want to start with implementing AI in my CRM today. So where to start? Where to start? What are the foundations to make that right and properly? Maybe we can start with you, Chetak, since you already run some great AI projects at work.
Yeah, I mean, I would still always start from good old next best action if it is not already there, because what it does is that it helps you to pull through your essential data blocks, which is the foundation. Because as we know, AI is just the outcome of the quality of data that is lying underneath. So it's important that you have that discipline coming through by way of next best action, and that already gives you some tangible benefits that I described earlier. Once that is done, I think the next most logical step would be to look at GenAI from an insights generation perspective. How can I know my territory better? How can I know my customers better? Because that knowledge will make me a better engagement partner for my customer. So that's second next logical step I could certainly do. And the third very tangible case that I'm evaluating is how can I use GenAI for efficiency enhancement and productivity gain by reducing the administrative burden on the rep. So for example, Alex mentioned about admin burden on CRM administrator in terms of territory planning, etc. There is a tangible use case, but also for rep in terms of filling up CRM data points after the call, or even simple thing like generating your travel expense, because CRM knows where you were, which calls you logged in which territory, and it should be able to generate and transfer that data to your travel expense system to generate an expense report. So this will take away a lot of admin burden on the rep and allow rep to focus on more productivity enhancing the activity. So these are like three tangible use cases I can already think of.
Thank you, Alexey. Thank everyone. 1.5 minutes.
Yeah. So I think what I would integrate is we have quite a broad portfolio, and a lot of companies have as well, you know, and such a let's say knowledge database where the rep can access all available approved documents, papers, and whatever in the database to give answers to the doctors immediately, basically in a fast way. And you can also have just online on label basically answers, you know, that you can prove. And this is something we're already working on, and it's not integrated in the CRM but separate, but it's already working quite fine. And even our medical director is really appreciating this. Alexey, for you, the last chance.
I think, guys, that I would not underestimate, apart from some operational steps which are critical and important, also to think about education of the organization. Calibration, so to say, about what we are talking about, what is GenAI, what is possible to do, what is impossible to do, what are the preparatory steps, you know, at which point of time we can get some benefits. It's extremely important because talking to many different professionals in pharma industry, I can see that really different expectations about this technology. And this is important within one organization, align top management with the commercial colleagues, and for sure compliance, you know, because without this one, it's very difficult to move forward. At least to ensure that all different functions, they are fully aligned, and there is an appetite for this, and all understand the amount of preparatory steps to start using GenAI. And then steps Chetak mentioned, Hank mentioned, we can put in place to see first results and to bring a couple of tangible business cases, which I can see we have in different pharmaceutical companies for the moment, and definitely technology brings a lot of positive impact by now.
Thank you very much, Alexey. With that said, thank you, gentlemen, for joining. Perfect in time. So once again, Hank, Chetak, Alexey, great conversation. I mean, definitely a hot topic. Of course, it's a legacy tool, CRM, but still many discussions around that, and I believe we will just enter in new discussions in the upcoming months and years. So thank you so much, and looking forward to the next one.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye.